Ta-da! Welcome to Indie Creator Exchange episode 31 with TC Pescatore, Loco Gonzalez,
Hold up.
Junction Jones. And this has been a little in the making, as they say.
So you guys are a collaborative team, and how did you guys meet?
I messaged Luciano. I had so I was actually drawing. I was actually writing the comic, imagining him draw. I found his page online, like his art online,
Okay,
and I had been
right.
struggling with the script for this idea, and I was just like I just started like watching his page, and I started writing the comic, thinking about his art and hoping that when I got like the first issue done, that I would have enough to send him, not just like a pitch with nothing, but like actual like substantial story that he could look at. So I just crossed my fingers as I was working on it.
Right. Okay. So so a writer reached out to an artist, and you found each
Yeah,
other online.
yeah, and
All
then
right.
we
The
And
I feel
magic
like
of the
we worked.
internet.
Yeah,
yeah.
the magic of the internet. Yeah, and then when he
And
started sending back pages, I started rewriting the whole thing pretty much.
right.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what happens when you meet a collaborator, right? You kind of like gel together.
Yeah.
And so Loco, from your perspective, you get this like message coming out from the internet, and what did you like about the series?
Well, at first, what I saw is weird science fiction, and that's what I like to draw. So the city, the whole setting was really interesting. The dialogue pop up immediately because usually, sometimes when you get a script, the dialogue is kind of wooden,
Yeah.
and this was not the case. The characters had their own voice, their own lines, their own personality. Uh, there wasn't a bunch of exposition. The exposition was done through the dialogue, through the you being actually in the setting. So a little exposition, but it was a very interesting world. I also like the visual narrative that Tom has, because that's other thing. Sometimes when you get a script, it's kind of weird how the visual part of it is not there. In this
Right.
case, he had a pretty good vision. So, yeah, I was on board.
Right. And so you saw yourself doing this, and what were your artist credits to that point?
Not much, because I started doing comic books like 2015, 16 or so,
Right.
and just to myself, just to entertain myself. I was doing more like illustration work. So I just had worked in some pitches here and there, just a few pages, some few local comic books, and that was it. So this was my first actual series.
And I'm really impressed. I mean, to me, this just looks like somebody right out of Heavy Metal magazine. You have the cool sci-fi futuristic backgrounds. This is all black and white. I don't know if there's like some warm gray or something I'm seeing, but lots of gray tones, and the storytelling here, it just moves along. So this is really great for a for somebody that's new to the field. Um, TC, what was your
Hmm.
approach? What were your credits to this point, and what was your approach on this particular series?
So mostly I worked in like a poetry, and I have a novella that came out, I guess 2016 maybe or 2018.
Okay.
Can't remember. Um, But and then I have been doing a like an indie superhero book, teenage superhero book. Um,
Okay.
but uh, yeah, so I guess it's similar in a way. Is like I'm very interested in like absurdism and surrealism and things like that, and I wanted to do like
Uh-huh.
a an absurd hard sci-fi, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, but for the most part, not
Is
like a major comic book project.
right. And so the goal just to do one floppy, or you want to have an ongoing series with this?
So we have this complete is like I guess 6 issues in length. I never thought about it in issues, mostly like chapters of a
Right.
of like a graphic novel. And then we're currently
Yeah.
working on a sequel, I guess a volume
Sure.
two.
Yeah, that's exactly what Kurt and I are doing. We're finishing our first comic, and we're already
Mm-hmm.
penciling the second, and we're hoping to do six when it's all done, and
Mm-hmm.
then compile it into a graphic novel, and then maybe if we're lucky, get into a bookstore or something.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
so
That's basically what our thought process was.
Yeah,
and
that's the struggle.
and do you have do you do you have like general outlines for the beginning, middle, and end of the whole entire series, or are you just kind of doing it as you go?
uh, I feel so. I felt like I kind of had an idea, prior to working on it, but then like once we started doing it, it became like not my thing. It it grew
Right.
as to like our thing and like a whole life of its own. And then when we got done this one, I asked Luciano, I was like, "What do you want to draw? Like, what do you what are you interested in? Give me a list." And he sent me this like giant list of things that he wanted to draw. So I was like, I don't want to I don't want to do something that's like this one, in terms of its construction. So I tried to like completely
Right.
screw with the
I
narrative
mean, right
and
off the
fit
bat,
in as many of
you
the
get pulled
things.
in with this. I guess. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know if there was a delay just there, but I was saying that right off the bat, you get pulled into this like it's a detective character, right? So you've already got the feeling of like a Blade Runner or or a noir thing,
Yeah.
and you're following this guy. You're already sympathetic to him, right? That's your protagonist, and the story unfolds as he's learning what's going on. Um, what about the world that they what about the world that they exist in? Is there like much of an explanation about that?
I think I feel like we slowly roll it out. I guess there's another element to this is like there's a color reveal that the we use the like slight infusion of colors and adding of colors to show like when you eventually get to Earth is like Earth colors. So there's an element of like the world is actually black and white that they exist in.
You were breaking up a little bit, but you said that you're going to be uh-huh.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know what is going
Cool.
on
So
right now.
this is like a dystopian futuristic world type thing,
Yeah, it's like it's like a world with that exists between Earth and other worlds. So it's like a junction point.
right? Oh, okay. And Loco, what is your so I know that every time an artist gets a script, they're interpreting it. But what do you feel your contribution is besides the printed words that you're given?
Well, the cool thing about this is that Tom gave me a lot of freedom to work with it. So the world itself, he's not into describing. I mean, he creates big descriptions of the setting, but they are more like a mood, more like emotional, let's say. So
Right.
I had a lot of freedom to populate that world with all the bullshit that I felt like. So eventually we came back and forth with the pages, and he eventually started to change and to edit the dialogue. So we created some kind of feedback in which I interpret what where the script is going, and if I find another solution or something that fits in the final page, I change it or I add things or I reinterpret stuff,
Right.
and then we come back and forth. So um, and that was great because usually that's the hard part when you collaborate,
Yeah.
uh, and that's what you immediately feel when you read an author, one author comic, right? That everything fits nicely. And sometimes, if you collaborate with some people, it's just there's something that doesn't fit. This back and forth, I think it was great because made it feel very natural.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, there's a great setup to this, right? And you're saying like the world is gonna unfold little by little. You'll be revealing
Mhm.
things like the layers of an onion, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so now talk about your influence. Now talk about your influences, and I guess we'll go one at a time. Kurt and I always when we do our indie creator exchange, we always say go back to 12 years old. And what was what were the properties, or what were the series characters that really lit a fire under you when you were a kid?
Well, the first thing that actually got me crazy was at 11 or so when I found out Akira, the
Okay.
comic books. That
Yes, Akira.
blew,
Yeah.
yeah, that blew me away. And the concept of the city itself being one more character of the story,
Right.
that was really noticeable. Also, I haven't seen until that point that kind of sequential narrative because coming from Western comics, the pacing is kind of different. Akira, that was my first manga, because they have a different use of the space on the page and they have way more pages for chapters. So it was way more cinematic, let's say.
You're right.
So it blew me completely away. So that I think that was the first thing that really made me want to make comics.
Yeah, Akira was definitely I guess a landmark
Yeah,
you know piece when it came out. And then I guess it first comes out in Japan, right? And then it comes out over here, and then made a pretty big splash here. we
yeah.
know that we know that manga has finally overtaken American comics in sales. So this is the new normal. But okay, let's kick it over to TC.
Yeah, I feel like one of the things that like connects uh, us together is like the art influences, like Akira, Mobius, Jeff Darrow for me. Um,
Right.
but then I think also at that same time, I the Twin Peaks, David Lynch stuff, very
Yeah, that's so
influential to
funny.
me.
Yeah.
and
It's
Yeah.
funny.
also around
It's
the
funny. You say
Can
that.
I interrupt? No. Can I
go
interrupt?
ahead.
Can
Go
I
ahead,
Yeah,
go
interrupt?
yeah.
ahead.
So TC, how far do you live from where David Lynch lived in Philadelphia?
Yeah,
And have
in
you
the
visited? Have
yeah
you visited
in
the
the
place?
yeah
The
yeah the Eraserhead. Yeah,
Yep, yep, yep.
yeah.
Well, he says that Philadelphia gave him everything he needed to become a complete
I do
artist.
I do feel like it's yeah. And maybe
So,
that's my
my,
obsession with like industrial fallout.
I bet. You're right behind him.
yeah, my Twin Peaks was what that was something that was cited by Denny O'Neil when I was taking his class.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and so it's really good writing. I mean, he would also say that he wanted classes to end on time every day so that he could run home and watch Northern Exposure, which was another one of his.
Ah, I
But
Yeah,
love
yeah.
he had written for TV. And
Mm.
the idea that David Lynch is going to get a TV series is pretty unusual. So that, that was also another groundbreaking, I guess, just landmark, that we see. And so those are some interesting influences. Um, and so you guys are we all day job people here, and you guys kind of do this on the side?
I do, yeah.
I'm living off the comics right now.
Oh, really?
I live off commissions from about uh, full time of commissions from about 4 years or so, maybe.
Okay.
Uh,
So
so yeah,
talk a little bit about that, because maybe somebody would like to commission you if they see this. Um, you do commissions. Where do you get business from, and what kind of commissions are you ending up doing?
well, I end up doing comic books because even when I wasn't showing any comic book my style, it's very heavy on line work and flat colors and stuff. So I was even then offered comic books. So that's what I end up doing. I usually got work from those Facebook groups. Those Facebook. There's one that it's called Connecting Comic Book
Yep.
Artists with Writers. I think
Okay.
there's a couple that are very popular. Also, people that contact me a couple times in our station, but that not that much there. But it's
Right.
a good place to have your portfolio. It's more like concept art uh, orientated, but
And you
uh,
also know about the Reddit group. I think it's called Collabs, comic book collabs. I think on Reddit.
oh, I heard about it. I'm not there.
Yeah.
Lately, I just get it just from social media, but because I started knowing different people. They follow me, I follow them, and then eventually there's other writers that come to me, and they come with different proposals, some local, some international.
So are you doing sequential art, or are you doing paid pinups, or what kind of work you doing?
No, mostly sequential art. I have done a little bit of concept art, a little bit of illustration, especially at the beginning. But lately, it's more comic book than anything. Sometimes short comic books. Also, I enter locally contests in which you if you get from first to third place, you get some money.
Okay.
So me and the writer get paid for being
Nice.
half decent, and so on.
What school did you go to? Did you get any education, Loco?
Yeah, I got how do you call it, high school education, and
Okay.
then I learned trade, like trade school. I learned how to fix computers, and
Okay.
also electronic soldering.
Okay.
Yeah.
I worked for a while in that, but I tried to get away from it and to change it for drawing. So I end up quitting all of that and changing it for like a bunch of low responsibility works while I was trying to get better at drawing. So I could eventually end up working of this or making it work somehow.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's great. Full time artists. You do what you love, and I mean, you have clients, so maybe it's not what you love 100%, but you also have creative outlets here
Yeah.
with the Junction Jones. So it's always good. It's always a work life balance. How about you, TC?
Yeah, so day job, I work in archiving, for the U.S. government, and
Oh, I
I
think I
went
think
to
you skipped out. What was that? What
no,
you said you
I
do
know. I
something
said
for the U.S.
yeah, I work in archiving, and I had a degree in history,
Oh,
advanced
okay.
degree.
Oh
and I didn't
wow,
want to do
okay. I'm sure that
academia.
comes in handy,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, Junction Jones kind of exists in that
Yeah, that's
realm.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah, so
interested.
that's
So
but yeah, but you're learning all these narratives, these
yeah,
true narratives
yeah,
in that field, right?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I was
the.
for about 10 years I was the layout artist for a an auctioneer of historic documents and
Oh, really?
autographs and manuscripts and stuff. And yeah, so I got into a little bit of the authentication and a little bit of
Mm,
the write-ups and the editing. I was basically, scanning all these expensive documents and then just laying
mm,
out the pages. And this company would put out like 3 catalogs a year that had like 300 pages, and I would have to lay out
huh,
every page. But you get sucked into the business and the stories, right? The stories
mm,
that you end
yeah,
up reading or learning about um, that'll
yeah.
get
A lot of
lost if somebody isn't there to package
yeah,
them, right?
yeah. A
Jake.
lot of
Yep.
the back
Okay,
material for.
For this, yeah.
go ahead. Keep going. TC,
I was
keep
gonna
going.
say, sorry. A lot of the background material are like things I've come across in my archiving, and then I like fictionalize
Oh,
and
that's
change
cool.
the stories to use them, so they have an element of like history.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
we were interviewing somebody that was making comics about kind of like the history of this haunted castle in New Jersey, and then he did like the history of this certain bicycle that was manufactured. So all that stuff is ripe for turning into comics. I was thinking one day if I ever have the time, I want to do a comic on the history of the um, settler versus Native American massacres that happened in the New York City area in the
Mm,
1600s, 1500s, and 1600s when the Dutch came here. Because I read up on it, and I think it's a
mm,
great story that nobody knows about. It's and when the Dutch first came here. So
yeah,
there's
yeah,
all these great topics that are just sitting there, and they're all public domain.
yeah, yeah. That's true.
It's all
So
yep.
the big question is, you are where is the trade back? The trade you're all in the trade paperback. Everything it's together. You have a new publisher,
Mm,
and then you are thinking about doing a follow up. But you guys have really completed something. So do you want
mm.
to kind of take us through your original publisher and then how you made it over to uh, the next one, and then of course, how and when can we get a hold of the trade paperback?
Yes. So like I guess there was a little bit of ghosting. I don't think we experienced it as hard as some other people did from seeing comments or anything like that. But definitely like you talk to an editor, they didn't talk to the publisher. You know, we're trying to ask why. Like we basically gave them 6 complete issues, so they were waiting for like nothing from us since the start. Like from the publication of the first issue, we were done basically, and so there was
Okay.
maybe like a
TC, I don't know if you maybe you want to turn. I think we're having a delay. TC, you're kind of choppy. Maybe you want to turn your camera off if that helps the audio. Because this is a cool part of the interview we want to hear. So you guys hooked up with a scout originally.
hold on. How's that? My camera's off now.
Yeah, I think that's more smooth. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh so question, how many issues are completed so far?
Uh, 6, but 7 if you count the start of the new thing we're doing.
We have
Oh, okay.
7, almost 8.
Okay.
Wow.
So
I'm 3 pages away from 8.
how many of them came out under scout?
3.
3.
Three. Okay. So
Yeah,
there's three scout editions that are still bopping around out there, and then
yeah.
you and then you they kind of had like problems, and now you're putting out 4, 5, 6 through what company?
Well, so they're
Markosia.
gonna, yeah, Markosia, and they're gonna do 6 digital issues and then put out a
Okay,
trade.
I gotcha. Okay,
That
so there's
was
not going to be.
what we wanted. We were waiting for Scout to finish publishing all the paperbacks so we can get to the book.
Yeah, yeah,
So
Right.
it was such a long wait, and then, well,
yeah. I
So if
actually don't
somebody's
think some of the elements that we were working with like work in single issues, and we submitted it as we wanted just a book, no single issues.
okay. And so what? So explain what the digital platform is. Is that a platform that already exists, or is that something that's going to be launched?
It's going to be on Amazon and Drive Through Comics, I think, and maybe Global Comics.
Okay,
So it'll be
that's
like on
something to
any,
jot.
yeah,
Maybe people want to jot down Drive Through Comics and check that out. And so you guys will
yeah.
be an offering, and they have a lot of stuff up there already.
Yeah, I think they have most of their, like Markosia has most of their stuff on Kindle. So November 11th, the first issue comes out again with a new cover.
Right. Right, and so this is increasingly a viable method of distributing your content to a new audience. I would imagine this would be the younger, you know, crowd as opposed to people who collect, floppies.
Mm,
Um, but eventually, this trade is coming out, and that's going to compile the first six,
yeah.
according to the plan, right?
Yep.
yes.
Okay, and do you have a time? You have an expected date or ballpark date when that's might be hitting the stands or hitting the internet?
I don't know if we do, but I'm
Do we?
guessing.
I know these are murky questions.
Yeah, maybe like midway through next year. I'm thinking if
Okay,
they have one issue come out a month,
right.
if that's the
Okay,
case,
so
unless it's like yeah,
sometime in 25, let's say.
yeah, sometime in 25.
Right. Okay. So what have you guys so take us from the first issue to where you are now. How has the process changed? And maybe Loco wants to go first.
Uh, I don't think it changed that much. Obviously, when we started until now, we really know each other very well, and we have even more freedom. We got kind of loose. He got kind of looser with the script because he knows.
You're doing the
Uh,
Marvel method now?
Yeah, well, half of it's
Not
done, I think,
quite
through
yet. I
conversation.
hope. I hope we don't do that. But
I'll give you one sentence for the next issue.
yeah, motherfucker.
Right.
Don't give him ideas. Yeah, no, but yeah, we got looser. I of course changed more stuff, or especially when we finished the first arc. Then I went again to change even more the style. I think through the first 6 issues, I kind of change the style a bit because I get bored easily if I had to keep up with the exactly same way of doing things over the
Right.
6 issues. The idea is not to make the reader dizzy, so I kind of kept the style, but I changed the way I did things, and I added or little challenges for myself,
Yeah.
probably different uh, line style, different brushes, and so on.
I
Uh,
noticed that it just here in the first issue that you really just have these kind of like vertical and horizontal boxes until you got to a certain point in the story, and to me this really works because it kind of picks up the pace, it picks up the
Yeah.
excitement when you start to go to these vertical and diagonals, and you're
Yeah.
cutting the
Yeah.
page across differently. So it seems like you're thinking about that consciously, right?
Yeah.
When you're doing your compositions.
Yes, it was everything was purposefully. I'm sorry, my pronunciation sucks.
It's okay.
Purposefully static, especially before the action, before the big
Right.
moment, and then I go crazy. It breaks up.
Right. Um, and for what about for you? So I know you guys are kind of giggling about the way, like, that your workflow has
Mhm.
evolved. But take us inside. So now you guys are a lot more familiar with each other, and
Mhm.
the series is really off the ground and established. So how do you feel that kind of opens up your writing now?
Yeah, so in the first series, we don't leave Junction Jones and Mr. Nibs at all. They're like the only viewpoint characters. They're like the only, the only basically scope you get into the world. And knowing that
Right.
we don't want to keep things static, and and Luciano wants to do a lot of different stuff with the art. The next series is like not linear. It moves from character to character, place to place. So he's able to just come up with different ways to draw each of the focal points.
Right, and that's a good metaphor for the expansion of the world, right? You're not
Mm-hmm.
just coming through this one point of view anymore. You're branching out, right?
Yeah.
Jake.
Yeah.
So we need to start wrapping up.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, this is the Indie Comic Exchange. Now, I did get a copy to TC. I don't, Loco, did we get one to you?
Yeah.
What?
I didn't.
Sorry.
I didn't. I
Did we
wanted to
get
see
you a
him. I
copy
wanted
of?
to see him live react.
Okay. Well, here we go then, because a part of the exchange is that we're reaching out to fellow creators. Jake and I are working on our own comic, Turbo Pit Fighter. Once a week, every Sunday, we get together and work on our comic. We have 12 pages completed. We've got them in a Turbo teaser. We send them out to other creators to then get them to send us a copy of their comic to be able to talk about. But
Oh,
this is the point where we really want to get feedback from other artists. Did you guys ever think of this, or why are you doing that? And we want you to be tough, so let us have it.
nice.
So this is where you guys can give us your opinion on Turbo Pit Fighter, and I know TC, you have a copy. Loco,
Yeah.
I guess you're only going by what you're seeing on the screen, but you could expand the screen. I think if you click on the middle of it,
Oh, all right, all right.
yeah, to make it
Yeah,
bigger,
yeah.
and hopefully it's in focus. I'm not sure,
Oh,
but
can
I guess that this is mainly going to be TC to give us your impressions. You can be judgmental. We're just
We're
reflecting that.
adults.
Yes, we can take all
We're
criticism.
professionals.
All right, Ben.
Um,
I'm kind of limited here because I cannot read, and there's only
yeah,
two
you
pages. To give you real feedback, it's a comic book. To give you real feedback, I need to read it. I need to
yeah.
actually read it.
Well,
At least flip through it from the beginning for me, please.
right.
So
So right,
I have an idea of the visual narrative, at least from the beginning.
yeah,
And
Kurt. So
I guess
take
from seeing
Kurt, take him
from,
from the first page through. Right.
All
I
right.
mean, I love the setting. I will say. I don't know if that's going to be dystopian settings. I guess we're.
Let's
Yep,
see
definitely.
how much do I get from the story without being able to read in it. All right. That's a nice proof of your concept.
I really love how
Right.
you guys get like the gray, and it's almost like is it pencil or
Yep.
Yeah,
And also graphite wash,
okay?
water
yeah,
soluble graphite.
Kurt has a lot of different tools and tricks that he uses, but you got pencils, you got graphite wash, and then smudging and splattering and all kinds of. He's got different spray cans in there, all kinds of stuff.
Anything to give me the right texture and value. That's what I'm always going after. So
Yeah, I mean he's definitely going for like a dirty feel, I
Mm.
guess. But yeah, this is a
distressed.
post-apocalyptic world. The big cities are destroyed. If you read the blurb on the back, and this is just like everyone's in survival mode, and pit fights are the kind of sport of the day.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like it's like I don't know if it's like there's like it's like an American Mad Max kind of. There's I feel like
Bingo, yeah.
the bombast. It's like bombastic in like an American kind of way. I don't know. I enjoyed a lot of the. I don't know if it's like I wouldn't say it's specifically American, but it has like a feeling of like
No,
being big, if that makes sense.
right.
All right. So at first, the style, the style, the style is incredible. It's very interesting. It's like Corbin and Robert Crumb had a baby.
Oh
It's,
wow.
Nice.
it's something like that. Yeah, yeah. Because the
The
girls
punch
are,
page is
are
so
really
good.
really crumbish, the strong legs and and but the kind of the textures you make, the contrast, how you define the volume, and everything, it has a Corbin like intention, let's say. Visually, it's very nice. It's very interesting. I also the action, I like it very much. I think, of course, I'm not going to understand every panel without reading it, but I understand the action quite well, actually, from a glimpse on it. So that's without getting into the nitty gritty of any panel or whatever, but it's really clear. You can see the action, you can feel the punches. Yeah, so I really like that.
You know,
So
you said Corbin and Crumb, and there's a. It makes me think of there's that girl that's like captured. She's like the prize, and then like you see her
Yeah.
ass in a couple shots, and then you see her face, and it's like all fucked
yeah,
up.
yeah,
Right, yeah, it's definitely kicked back, and that was a Kurt thing because I just gave him standard pencils on that. But it works. It works. I like how you have that shiny bar there, right?
so
She's
this
she's
so this is pencil.
well,
It's
no,
everything.
no. So
It,
I give Kurt pencils, and then Kurt, why don't you? I mean, from my understanding
so
is if
these are Jake's pencils,
Yeah,
and I have them all. I have them all digitally, and then what I do is I take this, I blow it up to 13 by 19. I then go at a 10% opacity in Photoshop, and then I just print it out. Then
yeah,
I do an 80% inking, which is all brush pens and these really cool high C
yeah,
pens, and I call it my 80%. So this is basically what needs to hold, and then I'll make a scan of this. So if we wanted to make a color version without all of the gray
but,
nonsense
but
down the road and stuff.
wait,
Um,
wait. All this, sorry, all this cross
sorry.
hatching, all this
Yeah.
cross hatching that you have,
Yeah.
I didn't so it doesn't translate 100% to the final page. Maybe it's because it's smaller, but what's going on with the it's great the cross hatching, but it gets
yeah,
buried
it
under the other stuff.
yeah, it
Yep.
kind of becomes
Becomes
subliminal.
texture. It
All
becomes
right,
texture. It
don't
becomes
you
texture.
don't you shed a tear for
No, no,
for it?
no,
No.
not at all. I will say the thing about it is in the originals it really there's a layer on top which you see now, but if you take some time and if you have an original copy you will
Yeah.
see them.
All
I
right.
do let them, and if there are areas that I wanna tweak back and bring back
Yeah.
that stuff, I allow myself to do it.
Yeah.
I don't like starting in the top left hand corner of a comic book
Mm.
and draw it and then be done. I can't do that because I lose. Like I'll get to here and I start thinking about this, and then I start thinking about that, and then so I allow my mind to just keep going on. I work on these pages all at once, all the time, until we get to the point we have 6 pages, the next 6 pages completed.
Also, you work on many pages at the same
Yep.
time.
Yep. I never complete a page until it's gotten to print. And even to be honest with you, I still mess around with them because when we go to official printing of the first issue, we'll probably have 3 different variant version interiors. We'll have Jake's pencils, we'll have these inks. So we'll have the version like this will just be straight inks, and then we'll have and that's just 3 we can think of. Not even saying like throwing a color on top, like red, through there, or I'm very much about interior variants, and so playing around with this as material is super, super important to me. Like I said, I don't like the corporatized professional.
Yeah.
I'm a comic book artist, and I'm going to give you $100 worth of my time.
Yeah.
And that's why I love working with Jake, is because he doesn't hold me to that because he can't, because both of us only work on this every Sunday.
Yeah.
So it's I mean, this is 12 pages. Yeah, 12 pages, and we've been on this project for 2.5 years.
Wow. Yeah, you're now.
Well, I mean,
You're absolutely
we're
not.
not. Right,
I mean, I
right.
have
Thank you,
21
sir.
I have 21 pages penciled that nobody has ever seen yet. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the script is being written, so there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. But the way Kurt just explained is really funny because if we put out the pencil edition, we might also put out like a 10% printed like kickback gray edition. So that'll be
Yeah.
called your Inker Audition special edition, right?
Yeah,
And
you're lucky that nowadays the printers are quite good usually.
for the light tones, yeah.
Even then, you'll have to be like very vigilant when this going to print
Well,
because
he could also printed blue line if he needed to, but
yeah,
yes, the printers can be very, very sensitive now in the light
yeah,
tones, and so if Kurt is inking on camera and people can't see that he's got these pencils, they're like, "Whoa, what is he doing, man? He's just creating magic there with the inks."
yeah,
Well, yeah, it'll be funny because if we do a pencil edition, you'll get to see my original pencils, and maybe we'll just like darken it up in Photoshop or something. And the
If you
ink,
guys I'm sorry, Jake, but we got to start finishing up. But this is one of the things Jake and I really, really are passionate about. I do hand lettering, and I won't even explain that process. Then Jake takes my files, there is literally 6 1-hour plus episodes in our playlist, which is just us dealing with the text of each of these pages. Because Jake goes in with Photoshop or Quark Express, and then basically starts dealing with the leading. So he's actually treating my handwriting font as my handwriting text as a font. So we're going into layers and layers of actual like artistry in having something that really super holds together.
well,
yeah,
And
it's
also we'll also have variations to it over time, and you're constantly dealing with your project. Well, like I said, we do need to start completing this interview. And as I always say, this is just the first one because I can't wait to get a hold of the trade paperback. So if I've got to
Neither
wait
can we.
till the middle of next year, I'll do it because I think this is a really really great comic book. The
Yeah,
art
and
and
the
the
next time,
story and
and the
You know,
next the next
you
time we
guys
talk,
just reminded me of something really quick that I can get in. Is that
yeah.
right before we published,
Yeah.
Luciano was like, "I'm gonna fix up one of these pages," and then I woke up. I woke up at like 5 a.m. to literally every page edited the day before.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
There,
That's
there
what
were
I'm talking about.
at that
It was
point
24
there were
pages.
those were kind of old at the point of publication, so I look at them and
That's awesome.
I kind of like them still, but there was a bunch of drawing that I was like, no, fuck no, this is not going to
Right.
print like this. So I went over like the I don't know 4 issues or 5 issues, um, changing some of the drawings. He thought I was nuts, but luckily you guys are way crazier than me, so I'm
oh,
kind of.
we didn't even tell you half of it with the lettering. Don't just like trust us. We're very OCD.
I
Um,
get an idea, yeah.
yeah.
But the
So
result,
yeah,
the results are awesome. So yeah, but
Thank you. Thank you.
it's like an
you guys.
expensive, time expensive process. The result on the lettering is also awesome because that's the problem with modern comics sometimes with
Yes.
digital
Yes.
lettering and whatever. It's like the art and the lettering is completely disjointed, and that's kind of
Yeah.
annoying. Yeah.
Right. All
Yeah,
right.
next time.
So with that being said, like I said, cannot thank the two of you enough. We're gonna have links going to your social media. The publishing company in the UK is Markosia.
Yep.
Markosia. I will put that down there as well. But I'll give you guys each a little patch of time to just do your own shout out as well, and then we'll have you stay on just a couple minutes when I close the recording to make sure everything's uploaded. But go ahead, TC.
All right, so yeah, Markosia, Junction Jones coming out in November 11th. It's on Amazon if you just search our names or Junction Jones and the Corduroy Conspiracy. And I also do comics at Junction City Comics. If you want to check that out.
Okay, cool. All right.
And I'm going to do a self plug then. Follow me on Locomotion Gonzalez in Instagram, Locomotion Gonzalez on Facebook, and whatever social media. But I'm going to answer you there. Give me your likes, give me your love, please. Thank you.
Great. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank
And
you.
everybody, you can see our other episodes of Indie Creator Exchange on this channel. You could also see our Making Turbo Pit Fighter other channel and our Comics That Influence channel. We got 3 channels, and yeah, follow all these guys on Instagram. I'm pulling out my Instagram right now, looking up Locomotion, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right.
All right. See you next Sunday, Jake.
Bye, guys.
Okay.